Hi, in this video I'm going to read to you the financial horror story entitled Benchmarked, Bewitched, Betrayed. It's covered on page 139 of Swiss Frankenstein financial horror stories, and it's been inspired by the Libor scandal. Benchmarked, Bewitched, Betrayed. Why has the net interest margin decreased in these branches? Jean-Christophe asked his CFO and pointed at the spreadsheet showing the monthly results. Their lending has increased and I don't believe they have reduced the margins. I'm sure there's an explanation, Paulo said. This is really weird and not great in appraisal time. Why does the CEO of all people have to see this now? I'll check immediately. 1 week earlier in the Dutch branch of the bank. What is he complaining about? Head of private banking Bernard asked Henri, a senior private banker. He is saying that the WIBOR on his Swiss loan was different from the WIBOR on his Dutch loan. So what? Rates change. Is he serious? Yes, he was very serious. He mentioned he took both loans on the same date for the same interest period. The margin was different, of course, but he noticed the WIBOR rate was different. Bernard looked at Henri for a moment while thinking. It should be the same if we fund on the same day for the same interest period, right? I would think so. I guess you need to look into it. There must be an explanation. Check the rates with Treasury and let me know, okay? Sure, I will. 3 days later. There's an issue, JC. It's one that's puzzling us like crazy, and there's no explanation so far. Head of Treasury and Funding Sarah said. What's the issue? Jean-Christophe said. The loans we've been funding on the same dates in different branches have been funded at different WIBOR rates. Not massively different, but still different. The strangest thing is that different parts of our business have been locking in WIBOR rates for the same loans at different rates. This means they've been seeing different rates on their screens whilst looking at the same time. Jean-Christophe looked hard at her. What kind of monkey sandwich story are you telling me? Monkey sandwich story? What is that? Never mind. Some Dutch expression for cock and bull story. I heard it in the Dutch branch. I'm not joking, by the way. We have actually tested it over the past few days and found out that the same WIBOR rate appearing in different screens around the world was different. We've taken videos if you want to see it. We've checked with Bloomberg, obviously. They are being referred to as Gloomberg now. Many complaints have come in from customers. Also Boomberg. A lot of customers also got better rates. Haha. They have no explanation and basically deny that their terminals are showing different rates in different locations. JC was not laughing. This can be a disaster. If it is, it cannot be our fault, you hear me? It looks like Bloomberg. Are we the only bank having this issue? Fortunately not. I heard informally from friends in other banks that they are facing something similar. Nobody talks about it openly though. It's a very sensitive topic. How on earth can a benchmark rate like WIBOR be quoted differently at the same time in different screens? Is it only Bloomberg, by the way? Good point. We also heard rumors that Reuters users have had the same issue. So at least this is not just an issue that affects our bank. JC walked to the window of his office and looked out. We need to discuss the impact of this with communications. We must prepare some messages and answer for the onslaught of questions and complaints that are coming. Of course, be prepared for weird questions though. Between you and me, people are talking about WIBOR being bewitched. They call it witchbor. JC turned from the window and looked at her briefly. Are you reading this in the tabloids? He asked in a condescending tone. Not at all, said Sarah. This comes from informal conversation with well-educated friends in senior finance positions. It really is bewitched, JC. What we are seeing here is impossible to explain. How can the same rate be different on different screens? JC turned away to look at the window again. Whatever it is, we need to be prepared for it. A week later. WIBOR administrator unable to explain rate issues. Financial Times broke the news on its cover page. The report covered the outcome of an investigation by the Financial Conduct Authority into the causes of the WIBOR rate differences on different screens and media around the world. A flood of complaints from borrowers and financial market actors had already surfaced about the world interbank offered rate. They complained that WIBOR was higher for them than for others, and the FCA had established they were right. The obvious requirement of a benchmark rate was to be uniform for everyone using it, the FCA concluded. The administrator of WIBOR had been unable to explain the different rates on different screens. It blamed the rate differences on what had to be infrastructural IT issues. We can't control how WIBOR is reported throughout the world. They showed evidence of the rates they had published. We are not publishing different rates. Certain tabloid media were a bit more blunt, not reporting too much about the causes of the differences. Quote, WIBOR, the $400 trillion casino, unquote. Or simply, quote, WIBOR, unquote. One tabloid invented a new verb in its, quote, millions WIBORted, unquote, headline that was widely picked up afterwards. The cause of the different WIBOR rates was never discovered. As other reference rates became dominant alternatives, WIBOR was soon phased out globally, a massive global financial operation.